The Nissan Nation podcast is a presentation of DRB and KGB Media.
Recorded live, coast to coast, it's the Nissan Nation podcast. From camping, racing, and all points in between. The NNP is your Nissan Nation podcast. Now start your engines and welcome in the hosts, David and Danny.
What is going on, Nissan Nation? From all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to Southern California, this is the Nissan Nation podcast. We got a couple special things tonight. We got Mr. Daniel Groders there, buddy, on a cell phone. What is up, Danny?
What's up? What's up? Living the busy life tonight, running around. Happy I could hop on here and chat with you fellas for a little bit.
Yeah, man. Sadly, we haven't really got to chat since Went, man. And I know we've had a lot of people asking us to kind of rehash that, and I think we'll save that for the next show. But how's Forest Fire California doing you, man?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Moving and shaking out here. Busy little beaver, doing some off-road and some last minute stuff here as the summer comes to a close. It's not like we get snow or anything, but it does start up in the mountain areas and stuff. It starts getting super cold. So went for a little trip last week, and we're headed out to Desert
Nice, man.
Valley in 2.5 weeks or so.
Cool. So, well, those are always fun trips. We've got Mr. Joey Parent over there in Colorado, man. What is up, Joey?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Thanks for having me back on the show.
Yeah, man. Well, Danny one-upped you a little bit, man. It was just going to be me and you, and Danny finally popped in, Joey.
Oh, I can't let you girls talk without me being around. I don't know what you're going to be saying about me.
Well, it's like wicked cold up in the mountains in California. It's like 80 degrees up there, so he had to come down and jump on the show.
Well, man,
man, it got down to 19 degrees last week when I was camping, man. That's too cold for me.
Yeah, that's pretty damn cold.
I was wearing every piece of gear I got.
Where were you camping at, Dan?
Up in Big Bear, San Bernardino Forest.
Did you do the Rugged Rocks thing? The Rugged Rocks deal?
Mountains.
Were you part of Steven's deal that they were trying to get together?
No, I guess it was a week ago now. I was with Overland USA. We did a Joshua Tree to Big Bear, kind of a overland trip.
Oh, cool.
Does the action suit come with a zip-in thermal liner?
You know what? There's still plans for the action suits accoutrement, if you will. But right now, the action suit stayed at home because I had my 2 daughters with me, and it gets weird being action suit and a father on a trip like that when the wife's not around.
They don't want to see action suit from Went. I know that. Yeah.
Actually, what I was going to say, though, Dave, is that I went with Overlanding USA.
Right.
And they're kind of like the ex-Overland guys and a couple other overlanding groups that they should have a video popping out of it. So if you wanted to kind of see where we went and some of the cool stuff that we did, they should be popping something out on YouTube very soon. I think they had a little trailer that they threw out, but Overlanding USA, there's a shameless plug for them. And they're a good group of guys, and we had a lot of fun. Really cool little fun trip.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm sure they got a Facebook page and all that.
Yeah, check them out. Nice guys.
Do it, people. Check them out right now. Pause this and just go check. Wait, no, that doesn't work. Never mind. So
don't pause this, dude. This is way more important.
Right. So why I've got the 2 big deals here, man. So as everybody knows from the last podcast, from the live Went when Danny had an adventure getting there and back, but you had some time to kill, Dan, in Denver there, didn't you?
Yeah, and you know what? When in Denver, you got to hit up the JP, man. You got to hit up Joey Parent because he is guaranteed good time. I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, I'm in town." And he's like, "Let's go to the races." I was like, "What? All right, let's do it, man." Sure enough, we hit the drag strip in the Big Blueberry.
Joey's like the Mount Rushmore for Denver, I think. Now you got to go see him when you're there.
If you don't see Joey, you didn't have a good enough time. That's what happens.
That's awesome.
So Joey, you guys hit the drag strip. What was that about, man?
That was about overweight, poor gas mileage,
Altitude,
extra slowness.
So what? Y'all took the blueberry out, right?
Oh yeah, it's down at Vandermeer Speedway. They have like an open track. You pay like $25 or $30, and you can run just about anything you want. It does have to go through a safety check, and then you can get out there on the track and get after it.
Now, I mean, so those that may not know, like the blueberry, just Google that. But it's kind of a pig to be on a drag strip, right?
Yeah,
kind of is an understatement, Dave. That thing's got to, like, I was just calculating it in my brain. Like, the thing is ready to go camping. Like, it rooftop tent with bedding. It's got a full tools. It's got everything you need. Like, the fridge was in it, packed with like food and water. And I swear to you, that thing weighed about 7,500 pounds.
So let me put it this way: about probably a 65-year-old lady in a stock Prius blew the doors off of us going down the drag strip.
Well, I can't believe you didn't have the leaf out, bro.
We should have.
Yeah. It would have been faster.
So you hooked up with Danny there, and y'all are, I mean, just out of the blue, you were just like, hey, let's just go drag this thing.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Well, and of course, the action suit made an appearance at the drag strip, because you don't go to a drag strip and race a 20-second Xterra against a Prius without having the action suit regalia. And it was a fun time. It's been so long since I've been to an actual drag strip, and there's some cool cars they're dragging. I put back a couple corn dogs on the gullet. We had a good time, man.
Well, I witnessed some of the fun. Like, Action Suit now has a Facebook page for those that don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Go check out Action Suit Groot, I think is what it's called, man. It's pretty entertaining for that. But yeah, you posted some videos.
There's some video. Yeah, there's some video of us racing the Prius, and just kind of some Facebook Live stuff that we did while we were there and on our way there.
Nice, man. So that I can only imagine, man. And seeing the videos, it looked. Well, you were live streaming too, right, Danny?
Yeah. I was live streaming, and those are the videos from. It was one, I think, when we were getting ready to race, and then one from when we actually raced the Prius. What was her name, Joey? What was the lady's name in the Prius? Janet.
Janet, yeah, it was definitely a J. I think it was Janet or Judy.
We were sitting in line. We were sitting in line to go race, and I think it was Janet, dude. I'm going with Janet. Janet walks up. She's got a little Tupperware with some vegetables, and she's eating her Tupperware with vegetables while everybody's all lined up to go race.
Hang on. She came over to the Action Suit like a moth to a bug zapper. Okay. Eating a kale salad out of Tupperware.
Oh Lord!
I thought it was Danny's mom. I was like, "What's she doing here?"
Dude, she was asking like, yeah, she was all about it, man.
So Grandma was at the Speedway. I mean, just that by itself is entertaining.
Yeah, she asked us what we had under the hood.
A lot of weight. But so what, y'all did a few laps, right?
Yeah, I think we did 3 runs maybe.
Did it get better each time, I hope?
I shaved about a half a second off.
Man.
In the 20s.
Yeah.
What was your top speed when you were down there?
I don't know. 79 maybe, 77.
So it's basically like you trying to get on the off ramp on the interstate or on the interstate.
You ring back in about 10.
All right. Well, we'll see Danny back in a minute. But so basically it's like you trying to get on 70 like you're going to Moab or something, right?
Yeah, you get from a red light to highway speed, and then it's over. But yeah, we got beat by like a Ford Edge and a Prius, and
But nobody had a rooftop tent on their on their Ford Edge.
No. If you took the times and did some I don't know, some crazy math formula of how much weight I had versus my time versus how much weight she had in her time, and you'd put some smoke on an abacus and figure out what the what the actual fairness of the race was. I think I held my own, man.
Nice, man. Well, you. I mean, like last time, of course, we've known you for a while. You were a man of adventure, and I know you'd posted up that you were going to be at a Nissan event today, right?
Yeah, the Nissan Titan driving experience is at the Denver Coliseum this weekend.
Nice, man. So yeah, you posted up some videos and then you sent me some other ones. What they were racing? What, a Chevy with you all had a weighted trailer or something? What were they doing?
They said, hey, y'all want to see a couple of trucks drag race towing 4,000-pound trailers? So we said, yeah. And then they actually let us jump in, and I got to videotape. I was in the F-150, and I got to videotape the Titan to our right drag race with towing a 4,000-pound trailer, and it was pretty cool.
And it won too,
all
right?
All professional drivers on a closed course, and it was just a fun day, man. Good people, and I learned a lot about that Titan. That is one heck of a truck.
Right, but the Titan beat the Ford, right?
Yeah, the very first race, the Ford red lighted, so he jumped the gun because he knew he was going to lose. So he was trying to get as much advantage as he could. And then when they redid it, that's when they sent us spectators in with the professional drivers to go down the course, and that's when we videotaped to keep the Ford guy honest.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, where did you get to play with all the Titans, like the diesel and the gas? And
yeah, absolutely. They sent us over kind of like a log jam, and then like a wooden bridge, and then about a 28, almost a 30-degree like berm. Like I put the Titan on 3 wheels today. It was pretty awesome.
Sweet.
Going into that berm, and then just like a flex test, the high point on the right front and the left rear to get the suspension to max out, and then just over some rocks. It was in the parking lot at the Coliseum. Wasn't a big course, but it was enough to really display what the Titan could do off road.
Right. Well, that's cool, and they're definitely. I noticed this weekend watching some of the football games, man, they actually have commercials just for the Titan, which I was so surprised. Like they actually kind of like a Dodge or Chevy commercial, man, that was showing what a badass truck it is. So that's cool that they're actually like proving to people that this ain't a joke, man. This is a real truck.
No, it is for sure. And I mean, Nissan was back with the hard body, and I mean they were truck people first.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think people forget that because like the Frontier right now it's a great truck and I love mine. But, they've softened them down a little bit. You want everybody to want to buy one, so you've made it more car-like, and Nissan built trucks, man, in the day. They definitely know their trucks. So you said y'all were at the Coliseum, Joey?
The Denver Coliseum, yeah.
Yeah, man. So what do they have, like an auto show there, or is this just a Nissan event only?
No, man, these guys, we had the entire, all right, so at the Denver Coliseum, for those who have never been there, it's a pretty big place. Like last time I was there, we watched Nitro Circus. So picture how much room Nitro Circus needs in the inside of the Coliseum to do their flips and stuff. And they had, it was kind of it looked like a corn maze, but it was all Nissan information about the old hard bodies and all the information about the new trucks, and how some of the Nissan, between 1982 and 92 they won 19 off-road races, and just a lot of old school, like, oh yeah, I forgot Nissan did that, I forgot Nissan did this, and it was really cool. And it was all catered. They fed us breakfast and lunch. They had Silverado there, F-150 there. They had 4 or 5 Titans inside. It was almost like the unveiling at a car show. Like we're all sitting in a kind of a semicircle, a bunch of different dealers and salespeople and parts guys and general managers and owners. And they break open these doors and they drive this Titan right up in your grill. I mean, 5-6 feet away from us, and unveiled the 8-foot bed, just a straight cab.
Right.
And it was just awesome. Great looking truck. And what I put it through the paces today, it won me over. And I'm not just saying that because I work for Nissan. Everything from the handling, the suspension, the power, the comfort, all of it. If you're in the market for one of those, definitely go and check one of those out before you pull the trigger on anything else.
Right. Well, I actually drove by my local Chevy dealer here today, and they have a used Pro 4X brand new one sitting out there, and I'm like, don't even go look at it, man. Don't even go look, because I'm going to want it, and I'm just starting to get my Frontier the way I want it. I don't want to get rid of that truck. So, I mean, it definitely is a hell of a truck, man, and it finally, I think once they offered this warranty on that thing, finally the sales are starting to poke up a little bit.
Oh yeah, 5 year, 100,000 bumper to bumper. It's the best warranty right now out there.
Right, and I mean that's definitely telling those contractors, hey man, 100,000 miles, because a contractor is going to put a lot of miles on a truck in a short time. And that's saying, hey, we're going to stand by you, man. And where most people, like probably Toyota's like 36,000. I can't remember if I want to say what Chevy and them are maybe 50,000 miles on their warranty. I'm not sure.
No, they all went to 3 year 36.
Oh, okay.
And 5 year 60 for basic powertrain.
Right.
Nissan's the only one running right now at 5 year 100. Bumper to bumper that I know of. I know Dodge was doing like a unlimited powertrain or something like Lifetime, something or other, but they stopped doing that.
Right. Well, that's a different mess. Well, that's for Dodge Nation podcast. But they, yeah, man, I really like. It took me a little bit for the kind of the front end of that truck to grow on me, and I'm still not going to like the long bed version of that truck, but. We had one of the Overleague guys who like to win our rock challenge we do at Went showed up in a brand new black diesel, man, and he put about a 2.5-inch lift on it, some nice BF Goodrich on it, and I was like, oh my god, that truck looks so sweet now. So it's definitely on my list of vehicles to own one of these days. Yeah,
it's I don't know, it really solidified things for me about how incredibly awesome that truck is. I drove one at work for a day or two, but just driving it down the street and doing your daily to-dos, it had no like real, like what I got to do today is they open it to the public, and I asked them, I'm like, I wish they would do more things like that for the public. Like on the dealer level, we're lucky we get to get in and out of these things and see all the different features and use the backup cameras and all that stuff while we're working on the lot. But to be the average person that may not have access to that and actually go to a place like the Denver Coliseum and drive one of those on a closed course, I mean, if you get a chance to do that, I say go do it. It is awesome. And
it that those things aren't free to Nissan just to showcase their truck. That means they're actually wanting to put they're standing behind those trucks and wanting to put some money behind them.
They're damn proud of that truck.
They ought to be. It's definitely. I kind of like the old style, just that it was very unique. But they've come into the big boy market, and they're wanting to play with them, and you got to look like them a little bit and cater to those people, and they've done a hell of a job.
Absolutely.
So, I've noticed that their sales have almost doubled on that truck month to month now, which is that's a good sign too. Are y'all selling any of those out there yet?
We are, and I mean, you're going to see the sales go up for a couple different reasons. We haven't had a ton of them in stock. We couldn't get our hands on them fast enough. So the few that we did have sold pretty quick, and so the more Nissan gives us, the more that are going to hit the streets, because it just is what it is, and they rock.
Right. So what are your big sales out there right now in Denver land, in Boulder land?
As far as make and model, or
yeah, with Nissan right now, what's kind of killing it for you guys out there?
I mean, we have such a good infrastructure for the Nissan Leaf. There are places to charge that car everywhere you look. Every time I turn around, they're popping up another charging station somewhere, whether it's in a mall parking lot or at Walgreens or, I mean, at the parks. A lot of them are free too. So that car really sells well in my area. And I bought one last year, and I tell you what, that car surprised me too, man. I bought it for a mathematical, no interest, tax savings. There were so many benefits to buy that car. No oil changes, no engine air filters, no transmission changes or flushes or any of that stuff. Super low maintenance. But I tell you what, I drive that car sometimes Monday through Friday, and it's a commuter car for me. And I roast tires in it. The thing is zippy. It's fast. It's super smooth. It's a fun car to drive. If I have to drive something that's not lifted, I mean, that's the car I drive to work, and it's awesome.
I don't know if I got to choose between that and a 370Z. I'm probably choosing the 370Z. But Dan didn't.
All right, you get your 370Z, and I'll take my Leaf. All right, and 0 to like 30, I probably will get you off the line.
No doubt. But Danny, didn't Holden put up some kind of challenge to Joey?
I'll get in and out of that Leaf a heck of a lot easier than you getting in and out of that 350Z or 370Z.
I don't know. Did Holden put something up?
I thought there was some kind of like, because I know it was between like the Denver area and the Atlanta area where we're just killing it with Leaf sales, but
yeah, I remember him mentioning something about that.
Yeah, they I guess like Denver, Colorado right now, Joey, I guess they still have huge incentives from the state and federal level, right?
Absolutely. It's $7,500 for the federal. So as long as you have paid into the federal government, $7,500. If you pay less, if you only paid $5,000, they'll only give you $5,000.
Right.
If you paid in $10,000, they're going to cap you at $7,500. So basically, it's dollar for dollar up to $7,500 that you'll get back on the federal side. The state's a little tricky because it depends on the size of the battery, how much you pay for the car, and what trim level you get. But the average is somewhere in that $4,000 to $4,500 money back from the state, and they don't care if you paid them $1 or you got. It doesn't matter. It's just a straight mathematical formula for them. And the law is going to change here for 2017, where on the state side, we can do a tax credit right there at the dealership, so you don't have to go through the accounting and waiting, taking out a higher monthly payment on the loan and waiting for you tax time to get your money back.
Right.
We'll be able to do the discount right there at the dealer and get it handled for the customer, which will be kind of cool.
Yeah, I know our buddies in Atlanta at Regal Nissan, they were talking, some people were barely making a payment on these cars. You could almost drive them for a year for nothing. Yeah.
If you put the money towards the loan that you get back from your taxes, I personally didn't, because it was a 0% loan. So I took my tax money and I paid off other stuff that I had interest on.
Sure.
And paid those off and got rid of a couple payments. So who cares if my car payment was $150 more than I wanted it to be, because I paid off $200-$300 payments that I had outgoing expense.
Right. So let's talk about some adventures, man. I mean, you definitely are a guy always on the move, man. And what you've been in Colorado, a good 2 full years now?
2.5.
So you definitely have a good feel for wheeling, the time of year for wheeling, man. So y'all are starting to get into the cooler weather, and you're going to start getting some snow stuff, right?
Yep. There's snow. There's snow up in the mountains now. In the morning, first thing in the morning. It's kind of freaky about Colorado, especially in the Boulder area. It'll dump 8 inches or 10 inches of snow, and by 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon, it's gone.
Right. Right. That but how does that affect like the trail system up there?
A lot of the trails, because of the steepness of the grades, the National Forest, they'll close down the trails. They'll gate them off. So they are seasonal. There's some trails that I certainly wouldn't want to be on, even with the experience that I have off-roading. Some of the grades and some of the trails, you couldn't do them in the snow, not without tank tracks. But they shut them down and then they open them up. I know NORAC does a bunch of stuff with the forestry unit to get the trails open and closed and keep them clean throughout the year. Mm-hmm. We're constantly picking up trash, and we just went up to Bunt School Road and Ironclads and ran Coney Flats. All three of those trails we ran Sunday, and I took a pretty good sized cardboard box, and I had a bunch of those fluorescent orange shooting targets that people had left after they stopped and camped and blasted off some guns, and we just picked up all the shells afterwards and put them in a box. So we're constantly picking up the trails and cleaning the trails to keep them open for when people come and visit.
Nice, man. Well, I haven't got to talk to Bill in a while, but have they done? I guess it's their fall trip is for NORAC's over, right? Where they go down to URA or whatever it's.
To URA, yeah,
URA.
That was last month, I think.
Did you get to go to do any of that stuff?
No, I didn't have enough time off from work. I had burned up some of my vacation time. What happened with my family this year, so it's been a little tough this year going, but everybody's doing all right, and I just didn't have enough time. I would absolutely love to get out to Went and do the URA trip. Those are definitely on my bucket list. Black Bear Pass and that area of Colorado I have not explored yet, and it's killing me.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is like, man, have you got to visit that area yet and do anything?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Joey, on going out and seeing that area. I mean, when I was headed out to Went, me and Chris talked about it a ton. And I know Dave and a couple of his buddies have been talking about heading out that way and trying to hit URA at some point in time. It's such an epic area to go, and you watch like the FJ Summit and all those kind of guys go out and do it, and it's surprising that more Nissan guys other than Bill and some of the NORAC crew going out and running it 1 or 2 years now, doing kind of a thing out there. That's basically all I've seen other than a random guy here and there doing it. But that's on my list for the very near future.
Right. Well, that could all change in a year or so. You never know. You never know about future plans on that kind of thing. But so Joey, what's in your world, man? What have you been doing here lately? Anything fun? I mean, clearly you dealt with Danny for a little bit. Any other cool things going on in your world?
Joey, did that rash go away?
I'm still waiting for my second dose of antibiotics, which should be here any minute.
So Action Suit Groot got to you, huh?
It is an action suit. I tell you what, the fun that I have hanging out with all my Nissan people is just always cracks me up, man. Even I have residual laughter after Grooters leaves. Like, I'm just driving down the road and I just start busting up. I mean, gut cracking up, laughing in my truck all by myself about a thought or a memory or something that he said. It just cracked me up, and I think it's awesome. But Amy and I, we got the new house. I bought a KTM dirt bike to do a little dirt biking in Colorado, and that thing's awesome. So did some dirt biking. I really I didn't get my full trip to Moab, which kills me a little bit. So just dealing with losing my dad was probably the worst part of the year by far, and I had a lot of friends and family that just stuck by me and really were there for me, and it was awesome. So aside from that, I did go to Keystone and did some downhill mountain biking, which is always insane. The mountains out here are huge. The jumps at the jump parks are big. And I crashed a few times there, which was awesome. Let's see, what else did we do? I'm always doing something crazy, so nothing really sticks out.
Yeah, you're always doing something. So
Joey's like the most fun per pound fighter I've ever met. Like I spent, I don't know, we spent like 5 or 6 hours together, Joey. And in that 5 or 6 hours, I feel like it was like a full weekend of excitement and adventure. Like the second I start hanging out with Joey, it's like it's on. So yeah, if anybody's out in Colorado and they need a dose of the excitement, that's a good place to start.
Oh man, I had Ryan Miller and those guys all stopped here. My buddy Will from Agawam, Massachusetts, and Jason and I had all those guys stop at the house, and I had no furniture, we had no dishes, nothing. We just moved in. I had nothing, and those guys came and they slept on the floor. Like I was like, I hope you guys brought your own pillows, man, because I don't have anything. And but it was cool to get to have those people. So anybody, I don't care if you're driving a Frontier, or a Xterra Frontier, or a Sentra Frontier, or a Frontera, or whatever. I don't care. If you're Nissan and you guys want to come visit Colorado, you want to do some off-roading, call me, text me, hit me up on Facebook, whatever. Stop by. I got plenty of bedrooms at the house here. You can come crash here, and we'll go hit some trails. So.
Don't tempt me, man. I'm itching for a trip out. I haven't been to Colorado. Well, I was there last year, but I haven't been there enough this year. So, and I got a birthday coming up, Joey, so I may hit you up on that.
Come on.
Give me some floor, man. That's all I need.
Oh, I have beds now.
Oh, okay. Scared me there, Joey. Scared me there. But let's get to our interview now. I know Joey. We could sit here and talk to Joey all night. I got to have a chat with Mr. Steven Rugged Rocks. I like to call Chris Niztek that, so we'll call him now Steven Rugged Rocks. He brought up something. He'd asked a question the other night, and it was a good question, and you guys can jump in on this before we get in there. But forums versus Facebook, it seems like the Nissan community, and I don't know, Toyota and the other ones may have the same problem, but it seems like there's like 60 different Xterra pages alone. And it's getting to be like miscommunication, misinformation land. And it's getting to the point where it's affecting like manufacturers of parts like Niztek and Rugged Rocks, where they get calls from people who think they make something they don't. And you spend 30 minutes with them trying to solve that and figure out where to send them. And it's just getting to be a mess. So I got to have a good 30-minute conversation with Steven about this. Before we get to that, Danny, any forward things on that for you?
Yeah, bummed I wasn't able to be able to get in on that interview, but Steven's got a great head for this kind of stuff. He's been around the block a long time. I guess I'll give my 2 cents and weigh in on it. Facebook for me, there's a million Frontier social groups, and it's cool to post up pictures of your truck and socialize a little bit. But I think really when it comes down to the technical aspect of doing work on your truck and or figuring out what works, etc., that really is taken care of in forums in a slightly more educated way, I guess you could say. When you go to a forum, you should also try and do your due diligence to read through threads that have been there. There's so much that gets documented in threads from the start of a vehicle's life to how people try new things, and some stuff works, some stuff doesn't, as well as manufacturers who have been through the ringer 1,000 times. I know Chris with Niztek, and I'm sure Steven with Rugged Rocks, and some of the other Nissan companies. We've been there, done that, seen that, tried that didn't work. There's a reason we put certain kits together, etc. And that all started with the beginning of a vehicle, and people on forums. And I think there's so much good technical information in forums. There can be a lot of people that mislead you, but at the same time, there's really good build threads and people that document what they do, what works and what doesn't in forums, as opposed to Facebook, which is just really, you should use Facebook for social interactions if you want to use Facebook for that kind of stuff. Posting pictures and glamour shots and likes of that, and having fun like what me and Joey do, streaming live, racing the trucks against Priuses and Ford Edges. That's all fun and games and cool and awesome. That's in my world, that's what Facebook is for. And when I want to go to look up technical stuff and or talk to people about technical stuff, I'll do some Wikipedia and I'll do some Googling, and then I'll talk to the experts like Chris at Nistech and say, hey, what's your experience with this? And then I'll talk to the guys on Facebook on some of the forums like Xterra Nation or the New X or Club Frontier or whatever it is I'm looking for that might have that thread that has that information. And you can comment and talk to people on that kind of information. I think in my world, that's how the breakdown should go. Forums are not dead by any means. I think they're misutilized sometimes, and people should probably spend a little bit more time reading through forums and learning about their vehicle than just posting up a random, what do I need thread.
Yeah. I think, Danny, I think you're absolutely right. First I want to say, for the guys that are on the forums, that are active on the forums, and I'm guilty of I haven't signed into one of the forums in way too long, but for the guys that, take picture for picture on how they did something and they document, what parts they got and the part numbers and step one. And I mean, they itemize it for you. They lay it all out there. And that takes a lot of time. And I just want to say thank you for all the guys that have done build threads and have done that. And that's one thing that I never did. And anytime I wanted to look for accurate information, the forums were definitely the place to get the most knowledge about what you're trying to do. And the Facebook is, I feel like humans take the path of least resistance so often that it's so much easier to, on Facebook, somebody says, oh, what size tires can I run? You're like, oh yeah, you can just whatever, 33s, man. And they just do the path of least resistance. It's easier just to put a quick note in Facebook and kind of, I don't want to say guess, but definitely not as accurate or nearly as documented as some of the forums, for sure.
Well, we definitely get into this, and of course, as a guy who owns a couple forums and stuff, and do I make my living off of those? No, I make pennies on the dollar of what I've invested in that stuff, but I definitely. I'm a traditional guy with this stuff, man. I love forums. I like you guys pointed out, man. I love that the stuff can be documented and it can be debated too, which you really can't do on Facebook without people getting all, in this political time, you can't question anything without somebody getting pissed off and wanting to fight you about it. And then, you lose a friend over it. But the forums, man, you can debate it, talk about it, in many ways. A guy will come up with something and then people take what he did and just run with it. And then they take it further than that guy could have thought. And it's all documented.
Yeah. Some of the write-ups and or repairs and or installations of some of the stuff. And granted, some are better than others. And I think it's best to find someone who you really think did a really clean job on their build and kind of follow them. And it's almost like a mentoring thing, without actually even having to talk to anybody. But sometimes the how-tos and stuff on there are better than like a factory service manual could give you. And I don't know if you know this, Dave, but I was a BMW mechanic once. And,
say what?
But seriously, comparatively, some of the how-tos are better than you would find in like super high def pictures and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and I can't stress enough, because I've run into this a lot more recently, is if you see a bunch of people arguing over something on whether it's Facebook or a forum or anything like that where you're not sure, don't leave it to chance. Don't buy something and then get upset because it's not the right thing. I'd say call the guys that have been doing this for 5 or 6 years, that have grown a company or built a company, that have expertise in this area, that have tried many things properly and improperly, and figured out what works and what doesn't. Because really, the experts are the ones that know what they're doing, and you can really rely on. I mean, I've learned a lot of stuff talking to Chris from Nistec, and doing stuff right and wrong myself, and going through the forums a million times, and I still do stuff wrong, but at the same time, just being in it for so long now, you learn some people just jump in, they get a little bit of bad information, and then they're stuck spending a bunch of extra money because they did something wrong.
Right.
So
right.
There's definitely people who've been there and done that now in the extra and frontier world.
Yeah, and this even relates to the car world. I mean, there's I've seen like the G35 forums that I used to be a part of. They just have just crumbled away just because Facebook's killed it. And I know I mentioned this in the interview. I sound like an old man saying, "Hey, get off my lawn, just keep it the way it was." But till Facebook can do their own forums, which one of these days I think that's where it's all heading towards. They want to do everything that we do socially, anyways. Till they can come up with a better way of doing it, or till you can merge your forum in with this. Please read up. I on my forum, I do not bash people if they ask me what's tire size you can put on anything or whatever. Because remember, when people ask questions, it's because they want to learn or they don't know. So, and I think that's where these Facebook pages, when you see Guy will post the same questions, like he copies and pastes on the 15 Frontier pages over and over and over, that's when it starts to aggravate people. So let's get to this interview with Steven from Rugged Rocks and hear what he has to say about it. All right, so tonight we've got our special friend from Rugged Rocks, Mr. Steven Lutz. What's going on tonight, man?
Hey, man, not too much. Just catching up on a bunch of stuff on Facebook and about 40 of these Nissan Facebook groups since everybody's moved away from these forums, which is unfortunate, really. But trying to catch up on the forums as well. It's been a while since I've been in there. Right.
Well, if you're kind of like me and Danny, I know you're on like 40 of them. Well, because we try to hit the car side too. It's try like 100 of them that we try to keep up with, man. It's a nightmare.
That's a lot. There's a lot to manage.
Well, it was funny because a couple nights ago you had posted up a question about how do you word the question? Well, I'll just let you ask the question basically, and we'll go through it.
Well, I said basically I was trying to figure out why so many Nissan off-road Facebook groups are set to private or secret. Because, see, when I think of the Nissan community, I realize that we're all so far spread out. And it's not like the Toyotas or the Jeeps where you've got a guy just about on every corner that can help you out with stuff. So with us, we really rely on the internet to share information and help each other out with tech info and that kind of thing. But when these different Facebook groups are set to private or secret, it makes it difficult to engage with people that may be able to help you, or even you may be able to help them. Right. So how are you supposed to mingle with people when you don't even know they exist, or if you're being blocked from one way or another? And as you saw, it started this probably the biggest Facebook debacle I've ever started. And a good thing most of the people were pretty level-headed. There were a couple of strong opinions in there, but I'm glad it didn't get too out of hand.
Right. And okay, so forums for I'd say all the 2000s, forums were kind of, if you needed some kind of auto source, that's kind of where you started looking, because they're very, documented and people debate, things, and it's a great resource like that. And Facebook has come along and they started adding all these groups and pages and stuff you can do, which is cool for like what we do with Windrock. And I know with like, promoting rugged rocks and stuff, those are awesome. But the problem is now, from what I can tell, is everybody wants to be in charge of something. Much like life, it seems, you don't want to earn it. You just want to do it. And they're really, these Facebook groups and stuff are very well intended. And the people, for the most part, I think the people that do them are good people, but they don't realize that it's a poison of a type. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree, because although you can ask a question on a Facebook group, or just regardless of where it is on Facebook, you can ask a question and get an answer from a friend on there. It's not archived in a way where you can easily refer back to it later. So what you're going to end up with is a bunch of people asking the same questions over and over and over again, where in this industry there's a lot of timeless information, and there's just no need to refer back to it over and over and over again.
Right.
So, once it's posted on Facebook, it kind of just gets lost in the log, and we end up running around in circles.
Right. And I'd seen somebody in that thread you had started, they were talking about how, well, yeah, you can search it and this and that, but it's, I know forums, the searchable functions of them is, kind of give or take a little bit. Once you learn the forums, they get easier, but to know how it works, it's pretty difficult. But like you said, eventually there is a long streaming thread about an important topic. And with the Facebook, it is searchable, and you could go to Google and type some things in, but the problem is you might get 14 different clubs or groups pop up, and it seems to be a lot of grapevine information that I'm catching.
Yeah, and it's these groups are an interesting thing too, because I've actually, out of like the 40 or so that I'm part of, I haven't sought out more than maybe one or two of them. It's one of those things where you can start a group and you can start adding your friends to the group.
Right.
And, you wake up in the morning and just all of a sudden you're in this group, which I'm fine with. But the bigger picture is the information in general, what happens to it and where it goes. So although the forums can be difficult to search, there's ways that you can implement Google into a forum, or even just use Google to search the forum itself.
Right.
Because obviously, even though Facebook is still a huge platform for social media in general, there's no better search engine, in my opinion, than just using Google itself.
Right.
So,
and I think it comes down to just people are somewhat lazy now. And Facebook is that app that everybody can go to real quickly, and you're connected instantly to a lot of your friends. But I think ultimately people forget that. How did you meet a lot of these people, your Nissan friends? It was all based on forums until Facebook came along. And I've met people because of Facebook now, but ultimately I would not have a lot of the friendships I have if it wasn't for the forums.
yeah, absolutely. Oddly enough, we call Facebook a social media network, but really I feel like there are better friendships made on forums than there is on Facebook by far.
Right, because at the time of year that we're in with the political thing and stuff, what a better way to piss off some friends that you might have made is by your political posts, or things that on a forum that you may never know, because I know with the forums that I own, we just don't allow that, religion and political talk, you just don't allow on a forum, because that instantly just hurts people's feelings.
Absolutely. It has its place, but it's definitely best to keep that kind of stuff separate. But man,
go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say that with the whole losing of information and people not being able to refer back to it, and the whole thing of people wanting to they end up asking the same question over and over again. Well,
sure.
It actually turns into, in some cases, my phone ringing and people asking me questions that have nothing to do with parts that I sell, actually. And not that I don't want to help people out, but when I'm getting the same phone call over and over again, and I'm sounding like a broken record, and
Right.
it not really stuff that I feel like my work phone should really be for. It gets a little bit frustrating, especially when there are other people that are trying to get parts from point A to point
Sure.
B, and
And what
I'm just one person.
what people may not realize is, the aftermarket side of the Nissan off-roading is pretty small. So you've got, maybe a handful of people that are really trusted, like you and Nistech and a few others that are trusted. But the problem is all this misinformation going around, or just whatever it is, they're costing you money, because when your phone's ringing for a part that you may not sell, or something you don't, service, that, it may be 5 minutes, but there's 5 minutes times how many times a week times, 52 weeks. That can be a lot of money for you. And it ultimately, it hurts the small business like you guys are.
Yeah, and I think a part of the thing that I've been thinking about a lot, and actually got some feedback on recently, is that people seem to think that Rugged Rocks is a much larger company than it actually is. I'm literally one guy, and I have a friend named Kenny who helps fab stuff once in a while, and that's it. As far as day to day making Rugged Rocks, building the website, listing the parts, answering the phone calls, filling the orders, boxing stuff up, emailing, email inquiries, making sure everybody has tracking numbers, all that stuff. It's literally just me. And for the guys that are just getting into the Nissan community and starting to build up and wheel their Nissan, I feel like they feel like they call in, and I have a call center of 30 guys or something.
Right,
It
right.
definitely isn't the case.
Well, I think that's a testament to how you promote yourself, and you want to come off very, professional, and I think you do that. So hats off to how you've done that. But I agree, people. I remember there was a group buy with a friend of mine a while back, and I won't say any names to this, but but there was a problem with a fitment problem on one of the parts that he manufactured, and he come to find out, the parts were manufactured off a truck that had been pretty abused, so the tolerances weren't right, and it was amazing that I was reading on a forum that people were like, "Oh, I'm sure with this company they have testing done for these bumpers, and they meet crash safety standards," and I'm like, guys, do you not? This is not Smitty built, or some of the other companies. I think ARB's actually done some testing with their bumpers, but this is kind of mom and pop stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. The Nissan off-road aftermarket is extremely small, especially here in the United States. The demand is not huge, but we're in it because we enjoy doing it. We enjoy being around the people. We enjoy going on runs. We love wheeling, and for some of us, we've been able to turn it into a small business and kind of make things happen there. But by all means, it's not big, and we're all just here doing what we can.
Right. And I hate for this discussion to sound like, man, we're these old guys just get out of my grass, get out of my yard kind of thing. but this has been on my mind for a long time, and I'm usually a pretty positive guy when it comes to helping people, and I've even caught myself being on these pages when people ask. My favorite one is when somebody will go, "Hey, somebody post up a picture of a lift, and I need a link to this and this and that," and you're like, "Guy, if you would have just Googled it, more than likely that forum's going to be the top search of what you're looking for, anyways."
You probably find it faster looking for it from yourself rather
Right.
than asking a question and waiting for a response.
Right, and sometimes you're going to go through a handful of threads that ultimately it's probably some new person started and they just didn't know, but eventually you're going to see a thread with a thread count, and I know sometimes thread counts don't mean a lot, but when it's about a tire size or like a Titan swap question, there's probably years and years of readable information there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, in the forums, you can have a topic that drops down and it not have a response for 6 months, a year, a couple years, and then all of a sudden somebody has some reason to either add information or bring something else to light, and all of a sudden that old topic is now bumped back up to the top, and it's brought to new life. And just more and more information builds in those threads. So, it's definitely a very valuable resource to have these forums around. And I think that we need to figure out a way to integrate a forum with Facebook. And have it tightly integrated. That way, it's part of your social media, but it's also part of its own website, and it's archived off of Facebook. So I'm not sure of a good way to do that, but the wheels in my head are turning, and I would really like to figure something like that out, because I don't want this podcast to be me complaining about like, oh, don't call me if you're not going to buy stuff, because that's not the case.
Right.
Because I do like helping people. It's just, I'm just one person, and I like to work efficiently, and I like to help people efficiently.
Right. And then the quicker they get their part or whatever they wanted as well.
Yeah. And actually, my average call time is about half an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I have, a handful of people that I need to call back in a day, my whole day is done.
Right.
It's gone, because I do spend a lot of time on the phone with people. I'm trying to help them out.
Oh, I know. I've talked to you many times.
Yeah.
I think our average...
maybe it's just me getting chatty sometimes, but I do get those guys that call in with tech questions, and it's actually kind of fun to me if somebody goes through the effort to research something and they can't find it, and they call me and they say, hey, Steven, I've really tried finding the answer to XYZ. It doesn't look like anybody's done this before, but maybe you can shed some light. And all of a sudden that perks my interest. It's like, ooh, something new,
Right.
and I'll spend a few minutes researching something or cross-referencing some parts or whatever, just trying to help them out. And, that's really what kind of drives me to begin with, is building new stuff. And that's what keeps things interesting.
Right. And between you, and I'll just compare you and Niztec, you each have something, you both bring something to the table that's very specific to, in something that, you both sell some of the same things and stuff. But having so few companies that we have now, and then, like you said, you try to spend, the maximum amount of time you can, because you somewhat developing relationships. But and then you think, you're both, you're not in some super warehouse where there's 15 Titans sitting there that you can work on. And that's a lot of, that's a lot of time. And once again, I know we come off as like, these old guys, fussing about the way it used to be, but what scares me is that when the next generation Frontier hits, and whatever next SUV that Nissan is developing, where are you going to store this new information? I mean, sure, you've got like Titan swaps and all that kind of stuff now, but there's going to be some new thing that's going to be a hot issue for that truck, or some cool way you can swap something, and Facebook ain't going to cut it. But, like you were talking about developing some way to integrate them, I hate to say it, Facebook is really a one-stop shop, and I think at some point they're going to develop something forum-like one of these days.
They might develop something forum-like, but in the meantime, I know that they have the technology to integrate all kinds of different things with Facebook. So I think that just needs to be looked at closer to see how we can bring the two together and catch that next wave of the Frontier or whatever else they bring out in the next few years, and still put up a new forum for it and try to get that traffic and interaction through just people looking for information on those trucks, because ultimately, at least for the time being, the forums are still going to win. I do agree, though, over time, Facebook might come out with something that's going to just kill all message boards. But, I think we just got to take it one step at a time and do what we can with what we've got.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, I'll also say this as a guy that owns a few forums, man. It does irk me a little bit that you can easily start a new group. And like I said earlier, I think a lot of it is people just want to be, in charge of something. They want to be a moderator of something. But I can tell you, to start a forum, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
I'll put $350 to $400 every time I start a forum. That's just to buy the software. That's not, if I added up all the time to develop it, graphics for it and stuff, you're talking well over $5,000 if you value your time like I do.
Right. Yeah. And you should value your time.
Sure.
You should absolutely value your time. So yeah, I know it's not cheap and it's not something that you can generally do overnight. But that's the quick and easy thing, like you said, is to just start a new Facebook group. But there seems to be Facebook groups for so many different things, and even forums. There was a time, and not to put you down or anything, Dan, but there was a time before you started your stuff where it seemed like every day there was a new forum. Like having a forum was the thing to do.
Right.
And eventually a bunch of them, they kind of got weeded out because people weren't taking the time to make them everything that they could have been. And look at Titans right now. That's the hot for Nissan. That's the hot forum to be into. And I think there's probably 7 or 8 actual forums for that vehicle now. See, and why?
Exactly. I guess ultimately for me, why I started a forum though was because there's one particular company that likes to buy all these forums up, and they just like to do very bad business. And I think ultimately, if they would have just played nice with something I did, I wouldn't have tried to be competition for them. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, anytime a company comes in and buys one of these forums, it's like everybody that is part of that community kind of holds their breath and just kind of waits for, like, what's going to happen next.
Right.
Are they going to screw it up? Are they going to leave us alone? And I'd say a couple of them, they did a pretty decent job with not screwing with too much. But for the most part, they've really become a company that, I mean, they've built a reputation. I mean, they've done it to themselves because of their actions.
Well, they're an advertising company is basically all it is.
Yeah, that's true.
And like you're talking about that, like the new X when it was sold out. Yeah, yep. They actually, somebody paid attention and didn't make changes super quick on that place.
That's exactly what I had in mind.
Right.
That was one where the buyout went pretty smooth, and they pretty much left everybody alone for a long time.
Right.
And they changed things here and there, but generally it hadn't become much of an issue. And at least the changes that they have made, it wasn't a total shock, because it's not like you woke up one morning and it was a totally different site.
Right. I do love the Ford ads on a Nissan site. That always tickles me a little bit.
That's interesting, right?
Well, let's get off this topic a little bit, because I can beat that horse to death.
Okay.
You're trying to put something together out your way as kind of a Rugged Rocks, maybe kind of run of type or event. What are you doing out there, man?
It's just been a long time since I was really active in wheeling out here, and really a long time ago. Go back to 2008. We had a gathering out here in Johnson Valley where we had about 60 trucks show up, and it wasn't a sponsored event. And it wasn't, you didn't have to pay or anything. It was just simply a meet. And if you wanted to come out, hang out for a couple days, and go wheel some local trails, have some conversation around a big campfire in the middle of the desert, that's all we were trying to do. I feel like in some cases, people show up to events just for a raffle or just for what they can potentially take home.
Definitely.
And that's not what I'm all about. Like I'm in this industry because I like to wheel. I like being outdoors. So this was the first year that I wanted to kind of throw it out there and see if people were interested in coming out. And, kind of like other events where you run into other people that you've met online or whatever. But in this case, really just keeping it simple. Mm-hmm. And just kind of reeling it back into how we all met each other in the first place and why we get together. And that is simply to enjoy each other's company and to go wheeling.
Right. And of course that ties back to forums, you know. You meet a lot of these people on forums, and
Right.
you actually get to put a face. It was, you know, before Facebook, you actually got to put a face to somebody, man. And
Yeah.
And I remember I don't know if you remember James Drake from Club Xterra or not. He was the admin over there, and he went by Drake.
Okay.
He went by Drake, I think. Anyways, I never forget in 2009 getting to meet him, and I was so excited to actually put a face to, you know, to a forum name.
Yeah. Yeah. And showing up to Gone Moab and stuff, the first time I was there, met a ton of people. And since then, you know, there's been quite a few guys that have flown out to camp with us out at King of the Hammers just to see the race and hang out for a couple of days. That event's gotten so big now, it's crazy. So what I would like to do is get some of those same guys that usually come out to the race and just have it something different, have it a different annual thing where guys just come out and wheel. So it's not like I'm trying to compete with other meets or anything like Went or Moab or anything. It's a different time of the year where it's end of summer. It's finally cool enough to where we can actually go out to the hammers, because in the summer it's 120, 130 degrees out there.
Wow.
And October starts to cool down, and it's that nice part of the year where, you know, if you want to come out and you go play on the rocks, that's cool. If you want to come out and take a jaunt up the highway about 30-40 minutes and go wheeling up in Big Bear in the mountains, that's not very far away either. So it's just a nice mix, and really just an excuse to get people together and have it more laid back. And by laid back, I kind of mean slightly more well, I was about to say disorganized, but I really mean less structured and less formal, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. So when's your date on that?
We actually just did it last weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we just did it last weekend. It wasn't huge because when I first put it out on Facebook, I had gotten a ton of responses, and I started freaking out about it. You know, we hadn't done this since 2008, and I didn't want it to be so big that it become problematic. So
right.
I kind of, you know, I didn't want to push it much on the boards, and I kind of let it, you know, the excitement about it die down a little bit on Facebook, maybe a little bit too much. But, you know, it's a learning experience, just trying to figure out exactly what people's responses are with it. And we'll probably do it again next year, and I don't know, see who shows up. But regardless, I'll be out there. I'll be wheeling. So if anybody wants to come out and play.
That's right. And you've got, 2 vehicles you're taking out to these things now, right?
Yeah, I do. So I don't know if you know a guy named John Tyler.
Oh, yeah, I know John.
Okay. Yeah, John's been around the Nissan circles for quite a while now down here in Southern California. And he had a tired second-gen Xterra that I picked up from him and kind of breathed new life into it and kind of given it a refresh. Coming up with a couple of new products for the second gens. And yeah, having fun with it now too. So Pathfinder's pretty dialed in more or less where I want it. You know, with any rig, you know, you're always going to want to be, you know, tweak this or tweak that and little changes here and there. But for all intents and purposes, Pathfinder is ready to go. You know, if I wanted to go wheeling right now, I'd jump in, turn the keys, and, you know, we go.
Right.
The second gen is still tweaking with it a little bit, but it's you know, it's coming along, and it's fun. It's nice to have another rig, and now when we go wheeling, you know, I take Tara and throw her the keys to one rig, I drive the other, and you know, we go play.
Now you're in trouble, man, because that's twice the damage.
Yeah, well, see, if the Pathfinder follows the Xterra, I'll be okay. If the Xterra follows the Pathfinder, I'm in trouble.
Right.
I got to call AAA.
Right. Well, cool. Well, so just a quick wrap up here. What are some cool things you might have coming down the pipeline? Anything you can talk about?
You know, I wasn't expecting that question.
Sorry, man. I probe deep.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I do have a couple things lined up. A couple new products. So we did a prototype set of ball joint upper control arms on the second gens. I don't know if you'd seen that online anywhere. But basically what I was after with that is being able to retain a ball joint in the upper control arm eliminate any kind of coil bucket contact, at full extension, and increase the down travel. So what I was able to achieve with this different kind of mentality of approaching this issue of really coil bucket contact and limiting down travel is limiting the up travel and allocating all the travel that the ball joint has available lower in the suspension travel. So at full droop, everything is basically maxes out at the same time, but then at full stuff, you can fit 35-inch tires without having to cut upwards into the fenders.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you still have to trim back like towards the firewall, but it's pretty simple to just make a cardboard template of the factory curve, shift that template backwards a couple of inches, and then just take your time with your tool of choice and trim it back. And honestly, it works pretty dang good. Got Radflow to make me a custom set of coilovers to go along with these A-arms.
Cool.
And the cool thing about the coilovers is they're now long enough with this setup to actually have an internal reservoir. So you don't have to worry about mounting external res anywhere.
Right.
And it worked out pretty good. So they're 2.5-inch shocks with internal res. So it's working out pretty good. I need to stiffen up valving a little bit, still playing with it. But overall, the arms themselves are totally fine. It does require a little bit of welding, but it's a really easy install. If you've ever welded anything, you would be able to get it in there.
Right. Well, in skill, welding is a skill, people.
Yeah, I don't mean to make it sound like anybody should just pick up a welder and just cross their fingers. But if you're familiar with welding, maybe not the best fabricator, but you're familiar with welding and you consider yourself pretty proficient at sticking metal together, you should be able to get this thing, in there. And the cool thing too is even after you weld this extra bracket in there that's required, if for whatever reason down the line in the future you need to go back to a stock type upper control arm, you're not cutting anything off the frame or anything that would prohibit you from doing that. So you can still return the entire truck back to stock if you wanted to for whatever reason.
Well, that's cool because some of those you get into depth wanting a lot of travel and stuff, and you're cutting parts off, and then what do you have in the end? You've probably devalued the truck considerably and can't get it back to factory.
Right. Yeah, I know, especially when people are buying newer vehicles and they start modifying them for off-road, that's kind of one of those things on their back of their mind is, if I decide to sell it, how do I put it back to stock? And am I voiding my warranty? Well, I can't say much for avoiding the warranty part, but at least, if you want to return it back to stock, it's an option. But I should mention that these control arms are for Titan swap.
Nice.
They're not stock width.
Well, I think whoever is going to want to do this is probably went down that path anyways. And that's actually a good way to wrap this up is, this information can be found on a forum, I'm sure at some point. And I know you kind of had a forum for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I still have one. It's pretty dead these days. I actually had a lot of good information on the forum once upon a time. This is probably going back 6 or 7 years ago. Tons of great info, tons of great builds. And I clicked the wrong button on the maintenance panel and deleted a bunch of stuff.
Whoops.
On accident. And then I didn't think about reverting back to backups until a couple weeks later when those backups had phased out.
Right.
So, of course, I was a little slow on that one. So, that's unfortunate. But I'm also working on a new website for Rugged Rocks. I'm starting all over and all the same product, but my focus is going to be on putting a lot more information about each product and why it's good, why you would want it. And part of the reason of trying to cram more information on the website is to also kind of eliminate that broken record of me answering the same questions all the time.
Right.
Again, I want to help people, but the more information I can put on the website, the more people find the answer to their questions without having to pick up the phone, the faster they get their answer and the more efficiently I can do what I got to do.
Right. Well, one last question for you, and this will wrap it up, man.
Cool. Fire away.
If I'm going to buy a brand new Frontier,
yes,
what is the largest tire I can put on this thing?
Okay, when you say brand new Frontier.
Yes, a showroom brand new Frontier. What is the largest tire that I can put on that without doing anything? Because that's one of the most popular questions on a forum.
Okay, well, see.
I threw you off there, didn't I?
Let me Google it real quick.
Oh.
No, well, see, here's the thing is a lot of people, when they say without doing anything, they mean literally just bolting on a wheel. Right. But with these trucks, you can't really go much larger at all before you at least hit plastic.
Right.
And then once you hit plastic, then you hit metal. And after that, so it's just like when you say without doing anything, well, just leave your truck alone is my opinion. And believe it or not, I've had people that say like, hey, I just bought this truck and, I like going on just basic fire roads, but I want to do something to it to make it better. And it's like, well, what do you want to do with your truck that you can't do right now? And if their question is nothing, then I tell them just leave your truck alone.
Right.
And some people listen to that, and some people just like playing with stuff. And then
some people have wallets that are larger than mine.
Yeah, that happens. And I'm really just trying to take that approach of, yeah, I sell parts, but that doesn't mean I want to shove parts down your throat. I try to be very honest and try to educate people about what they're trying to do, so that way they can make an educated decision on how they're going to use their truck and what they're going to need to accomplish what they're trying to do.
Well, cool, man. Well, what is your web address and everything? So if people want to reach out with parts that you actually sell.
Yeah, ruggedrocks.com. It is rocks with an S. I get that question a lot. So ruggedrocks.com. And if you do need to call me or have some cool, new, exciting project that you're totally stumped on, feel free to call me. The phone number is 909-547-4651.
Well, cool, man. And we've known Steven for a long time, and definitely you would be what I consider one of the good guys of some of the parts manufacturers out there, man. So,
thanks, man.
So we appreciate you being on, and maybe next time we'll have Danny on with us, and because I'm sure cool. Danny could have added a lot to the forum thing tonight.
Yeah, actually, next time I come on though, make sure Danny's wearing his pants.
Hey, he's near. You're closer to Danny than I am, so I can't make sure he does anything.
Yeah, well, the freeway between him and I right now is shut down.
Uh-oh.
So that, as long as he
stays on his side of the highway.
Stays on the other side of the freeway. Yeah, we're okay.
Well, cool, man. Well, we definitely appreciate you being on tonight, man. And I'm sure this will get some responses on our Facebook page, and hopefully it's good stuff. I mean, there's no malice or anything by anything we're talking about. It's just our observations from being around for a while, and
yeah,
hopefully we don't piss too many people off.
No, again, I really don't want this to end up coming off as the wrong way, because I really do like helping people. It's just we need to make use of the forums and post useful information there. We need people to leverage that. So.
Definitely. Well, till next time, man. We appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, thanks a bunch. Thanks for having me back, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. It's now time for the Bear Truth. Here she is, Miss Kara Bear.
Hey everybody, this is Kara with another Bear Truth. Today I'd like to share a story from Moab back in May. I was with a group on Hell's Revenge. Actually, it was my first run ever on Hell's, and it was a cool experience, but I can't really say I'm a Hell's kind of girl after experiencing it. A man with his family in a crawler buggy went off trail because he wasn't patient enough to wait for us to pull over. And we were a pretty large group, so we were trying frantically to find a place to pull over for him, because it's courteous to let people pass if you know that you're going to be slower than they are. And because I got hot-headed, I yelled at him as he drove by us. As with most responsible off-roaders, it really bothers me when people do that. We stopped for a break to figure out a leak on one of the rigs, which ended up being insignificant, thankfully. This guy in the buggy comes back at us, and I was still kind of fired up, so I flagged him down. I started by asking if he would please stay on the trail, that we'll pull over at an appropriate spot to let him pass. Most folks do wait. Now, before I go further in the story, I'd like to let everyone know that I have worked on myself for a very long time to try being as courteous as possible when I'm angry, and I was pissed. So actually, I was surprised and pretty proud of myself for being firm but respectful and not using bad language. I was actually pretty surprised and proud of myself for being firm but respectful and not using bad language, as I had noticed that there was a child in the buggy too. But this guy, he had other ideas and proceeded to rip into me, call me names, and make comments about completely unrelated things, comments that only a bully would make to try and bring someone down. I let it slide, and then I said, please, it's very important that we preserve this landscape by staying on the trail to protect the cryptobiotic soil and the plants. Then he and his wife began calling me names and taunting me for knowing big words and for being an expletive, tree-hugging expletive. Their language was mostly cursing and belittling, which floored me because of the child sitting in between them, listening to everything. At this point, all I could say was, really? And that's when Amy stepped in. She later told me that she did it because she thought maybe I was running my mouth, as she knows me very well, but was surprised at what the people started saying to her when she began to mediate, or attempt to mediate, rather. In the end, they said some really mean and hurtful things to both of us, and nothing was solved. I called the BLM, who told me that they'd be at the end of the trail waiting to ticket them. Sometimes it really makes me wonder if it's worth it to advocate, but I know deep down that it is. No matter how beat down we get, it's important to remember that immature adults can't be reasoned with. But we still need to continue to educate, as most intelligent people will realize their mistakes and move forward with new knowledge. I've been there, and it's how we all learn. In a nutshell, it really hurt us to see the environment get torn up under his tires, and it did hurt me even more when he tried to bully me. However, the BLM had the last word and made sure to let him know he was in the wrong. I think everyone who listens to Nissan Nation podcast is a responsible driver. So thank you guys for everything you do to be safe, and for the four-wheeling audience, to maintain the trails and tread lightly. Until next time, this is Kara, and that's the bare truth.
All right, so that was Miss Kara Bear, man. Hopefully, not hopefully, she's got another one coming up, hopefully next episode, so that'll be cool. And so back to Danny and Joey Parent. So, Danny, what's the word on the street, on the mean streets about your Frontera, man?
Just a little bit of update on some of the stuff we got going for it. Radflow, I think I told you last time, and maybe you guys have seen that we got those rear shocks in, those 18-inch 3.0 5.4.5, I can't remember, 5-way bypass shocks. So that was like a big, fun, exciting thing to see. We got the front shocks ordered. Radflow, we're running, each side's going to be running a 10-inch 2.5 coilover with a dual spring rate shock. We'll be also running a 3.0 10-inch 3-way bypass reservoir shock as well per side. We got those all ordered and going from Radflow. They're taking
going from your house shipped to my house. Is that what you said?
Yeah, sure, buddy. All you're gonna need is a welder, a laser cutter, and weeks of labor.
All right, you send me the shocks and I'll get that.
So Dan, will it have a Niztec spacer on top of all that?
No spacers on this vehicle.
So I mean, that's a big money item that you're talking about there.
Yeah, like I said, Radflow stepped up big time. They're really helping us out on this race truck, which is, helping us be able to afford things like this.
Right.
We do a lot of business with Radflow, with Niztec and Xterra Performance. So they were really good with stepping up with some sponsorship kind of and helping us defray the costs a little bit. So I'm pumped that they helped us out. Still expensive, but we got what we wanted. We didn't want to go with two 2.5 shocks in the front. We wanted to go with the big 3.0s with the 2.5. So we're pumped to get those in. Laser cut stuff should be back soon, and we got our Elcan leaf pack. They should be done within the week. The rear leaf pack, big full custom leaf pack from Alcan. They stepped up too to help us a bit. To make that. So we should be seeing some really good pictures coming out pretty soon. It's in the next 2 weeks. We got a bunch of, since all these parts are coming in, we're getting a bunch more work done. Melting metal, welding up and stuff. BTF is just they just finished up a couple of really cool projects over at their shop. So as those things get pushed out, we're pushing the X in for more welding and more fabbing. So hopefully within the next few weeks we should see some really good progress on the truck.
Well, that's cool, man. What kind of tires do you think you're going to end up running? You said you got a sponsorship or something, didn't you?
Yeah. And when I say sponsorship, everybody thinks we get free stuff, but sponsorships are usually like, hey, we're going to give you 10% off. Or some are good and some are like, eh. Yeah. General Tire has offered to somewhat sponsor us. It's not the best sponsor. It's not the most ideal sponsorship, I guess you could say. So I'm looking at running General Tires. They'd be 35, 1250, 17s.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What size was it going to be? Like a 30? Did the TXR truck? What size was it running? 35?
He was running 33s.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm probably going to be running 35s. We're going to be running a lot more travel, and I wanted to run that slightly bigger tire just to give it a little bit more cushion, slightly less beat up on the truck,
Right. And
but it does mean we're going to have to gear it a little bit lower, so we're probably going to be running 456s in the rear end. So.
And I guess I know you posted something on Facebook the other day about looking for 17-inch rims. What's that about?
Yeah, we're going to be running 17-inch wheels. It's easier to get into the tire size that we want and stuff. Tire prices and sizes and stuff. It's just the best way. Plus, it allows us to go up to a bigger brake. So the brakes are still kind of on the horizon as far as deciding how we're going to build that up. So we're looking at Willwood brakes and some different options.
That's right.
But that's all kind of on the drawing board right now. But 17-inch wheels will help clear bigger brakes if we run bigger brakes.
And if you'd like to get the brakes off of Danny's project in his GoFundMe for this now,
right?
his donor for his bleeding Xterra. But so everything's good then. I mean, it sounds like you're still on schedule for where you want to be.
Yeah, for the most part. Schedule is kind of a relative term for something like this.
I mean, you're planning for the next 15 years of somewhere within there, right? That you're going to race?
Yeah. Schedule it needs to be done in the next 15 years, so we're right on schedule for that.
Well.
So, I'm pumped. Every time we get something ordered or something comes in, it's, one step closer. And I think the day that I sit in it and I start it up and it rolls forward on its own power is going to be the day that I just start blubbering like a little baby in my helmet.
Well, that's something I haven't got to talk about, man. So obviously, I moved. I'm now recording in the new Nissan Dungeon 2.0 studio.
The upper dungeon?
Yeah, the dungeon as Danny labeled it.
Will there be a Dungeon 2.0 sticker at Went next year?
Oh, there could be, man.
Should be.
It'd be like a whip or something. I don't know what it would be.
I survived Dave's dungeon.
A sticker of a riding crop. Jesus. I don't even know
it just got dark and real.
I don't even know where I was going with this.
We went from me excited and crying about racing.
Oh, that's it. But Danny, the struggle to get my Xterra on all 4 feet, man. It was moments before it was very unsafe. I've got like 3 high lift jacks under the truck trying to get like the axle shifted on me. And so the axle was sitting like halfway on one side of the truck, and I was like, how in the hell am I going to fix this? And I'm looking at it, and I figured out that you could just push the body. You could just push the truck to where you wanted it. And, I had one of those moments like you're just talking about. Like, I should have waited for Kelly to get home to help me finish this thing up, but I was like, screw this. I'm doing this. And I roll it out, man, and that truck sees daylight, and it hadn't seen daylight in 2 years, and I literally shed a tear. I think that I was like, it's almost done. It rolled out. So I do understand, Danny, what your thrill and excitement.
It's gonna be. There'll be Facebook Live and there'll be YouTube videos. There'll be me like singing action suit, race suit.
The mayor of your town's gonna give you the key.
Oh yeah, dude! I'm telling you, it's gonna be a wild time in the desert that weekend. First hits the dirt.
There definitely better be an action suit Groot sticker on there, man, because Luke knocked that one out of the park for you.
Oh, I know. I gotta order more. I think I have one more for the race truck sitting in my bag, and I haven't been out to the truck since I haven't driven down to go see it since I got back. So
I'm sure Mr. Parent over there would like to have some action suit on his truck.
I'm surprised I didn't get action suit tagged while he was here in Colorado. I mean, he missed his window of opportunity by a long shot.
I know, dude. And you know what? I felt really, really bad the fact that I got all the way over to you, and then I realized I didn't put my stickers in my pocket for you.
Well,
You'll get one, man. I want to send you a nice big one though for your door.
Speaking of tagging, though, that's been interesting, and we'll get into Went next show. But it's been interesting to see how many people y'all actually tagged with some stuff at Went that all of a sudden just now are realizing it 3 weeks or 4 weeks later that.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the best. The one shining golden thing about going to Went flying out or whatever is I don't have a truck that I have to peel stickers off of every 5 minutes
or get the swimming pool out of.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you might be onto something.
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna fly to Moab next year.
It'd be a short trip for you, man. Joey's going to get a helicopter soon.
There's very few good things about not having a truck at an off-road event, but that is the one good thing.
Oh my God! The year you showed up with the rental truck, what was it, F-150?
F-150. I had to peel stickers off the back of that window and like unclip zip ties for like an hour before I turned it in, and I still didn't get them all. I had to power wash it for like 2 hours and then like strip stickers off for like another hour, and then I was like, I'll leave these last 3 on here.
Wow.
I just want to see the picture of the guy's face at the rental car company when you brought it back.
I like to see the guy that changed the oil and see how underneath it was beat to shit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, Danny, we got before we wrap this thing up, we got a few Facebook questions, man. Let's see.
Yep.
Mr. Jacob French, I don't know. I think this was a troll question. He, Toyota 4Runner versus Xterra, which is better?
Can I field that one?
Yeah, dude, hop right in.
All right, so if you go out and buy a new 4Runner for like $44,000, or you pick up a 2015 slightly used Xterra with 10 or 15K on it, and you dump $10,000 into your Xterra, you will have a way sicker Nissan than any of those Toyotas.
I think that one nailed that one. Mr. Car Jeep, 3 most memorable moments of Went. Sorry, Car Jeep. That's for another show. Let's see. SAS first gen. Snow wheeling. I don't know what Rod over there by you, Joey. He just said snow wheeling. So I don't know how that's a question or anything, but Rod's a loyal listener.
I think Rod's version of snow wheeling is going over the pass on the way to Moab with a trailer, pushing his Xterra down the backside of the mountain, freaking out. We still never sent him like a case of diapers for that trip. He needed them when he came out of the tunnel. I don't know what Rod's talking about snow wheeling.
Yeah, that's a good question, Rob. Maybe next time you add a comma and a few more things to that. A Frontiera updates, Mr. Cody Fletcher. I think Danny just got you on that one. Let's see. Duncan Mills, how to beef up your second gen steering besides HIM steering, and he's got that already. I think Danny, what you guys have some HIMs that y'all are doing now, right? Or something like that.
HIM steering. Yeah, we're still working on getting it down to like a reasonable price. Right now, they're super expensive to make and build. We'll probably be working to get those out to market. Maybe beginning of next year, I think, is we got some other stuff on the table right now.
Right.
Well, I got to tell you that the last time I wheeled with Chris from NizTech, I did stop and my jaw did hit the ground when I saw those because they look awesome. They look so beefy.
Yeah, they're beefy, that's for sure. I mean, I took a serious hit from a rock doing, 30 miles an hour out. It was just me and my wife overlanding. And I was rallying a little road a little bit, and there's the rocks that are hiding behind the bush kind of a thing. Nailed the right front super hard, yanked the steering wheel out of my hand, and I hit the brakes. Got out, looked at my tire, looked at my wheel, looked at my steering, and it was all good. And I know that if I was running like a stock tie rod, that thing would have bent right in half. So yeah. I already feel like I benefited from them. Yeah,
they looked pretty gnarly. We did I think it was Spring Creek, and it was just all gnarly rocks, and that was an awesome day.
Let's see. Mr. Duncan Mills got another question of number. Well, he's got like 5 questions. Number 2 is best fender solution for a second gen fitting huge tires. I'm gonna say either your Sawzall or some kind of cutting utensil is probably best for that one. What do you guys think?
I think my truck had maybe 599 miles on it when I cut my fenders. Just cut it. You're going to off-road it and dent it up down the road anyway. Just cut it and just make it look good. Just peel that sucker back.
Right.
If you don't do it, the trail will do it for you.
Yeah, definitely. And he's got is a 2-inch body lift on a drop bracket Titan swapped rig too tall? I've never seen one that's really too tall.
So I think Terry Lindgren has the drop bracket 6-inch lift, and Dave Lyons has the same, correct?
Terry's not Titan swapped, but there's a few guys in Silver State Nissans that are running them. You just get a ton more ground clearance. You can clear the 35s without any trimming really when you run that drop bracket on a Titan swap. So it just gives you a ton more ground clearance when you're looking to climb big boulders. It's not a bad setup. It's a really good setup. Sometimes I wish I had that clearance.
Well, generally I know on the rock challenge we do at Wint, man, that's the guys who generally win it are the guys with the drop brackets and everything.
Yeah, drop bracket just helps so much when you're looking at do it. Big rocks require big clearance. That's all there is to it. You have to run a big tire.
I think it's definitely the most economical way of instead of sassing a second gen. You're nearly getting the same benefits when you're doing that.
Did you say big rocks require big clearance?
Maybe.
All right, I'm gonna let that one sink in for a minute.
All right, and his final question: Amazon or eBay for Halo headlights? I'm not a Halo streetcar kind of headlight guy, so I'll defer to you guys on that.
Wait, say that one again. Sorry.
He's asking Amazon or eBay Halo headlights. Are they any good?
Did eBay start making their own headlights?
I don't have any personal experience with that. I like my factory headlights because I know there's a lot of cheap junk out there. Yeah. I'd say do your research on the forums, find out what stuff is good and what stuff is bad. Because, like I said, I've known people that got aftermarket headlights that were junk, where stuff burns out super fast, and they don't seal very well. There are some good conversion kits out there, and there's some people that do really good conversion kits. However, you spend some money. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to spend money to get good stuff. That's the name of the game sometimes. So that's my suggestion: is do your research. And cheap stuff is usually cheap.
Right. You do, I think, especially in the car world, you do get what you pay for.
Hey guys, I'll say this for the Blueberry. I usually buy the nicer stuff. I think in 85,000 miles, I'm gonna knock on some wood here because I've popped one, two, I think only three front axles in 85,000 miles with all the trails I've done, and I popped two R180s, and that's going all the way back from, I popped one in my 07 Xterra and one in the Blueberry. So in just the Blueberry, one R180 and three axles for running 35s with stock gears, I think is a testament of if you buy a good product, and yeah, you might not find the cheapest one out there, but if you buy a good product, it will last you longer, and it will treat you better.
Right.
The best price isn't always the best deal.
And I think we've seen some of those halos and stuff. I think Ryan Bennett just bought somebody had done that on an Xterra he just bought, and I think they fell apart on his way home trying to go back to Louisiana from Chicago. So yeah, and just definitely check with headlights, check your local laws and stuff, and see what is actually allowed in your areas, because I know they're not always street legal. So Danny, that's about our show tonight, man. I was so glad to see you surprise and jump in. I know you stole Joey's thunder tonight, but that's okay.
Well, I knew that if he was going to be on, you would need someone with a little bit more panache in order to take this show over the top like we usually do.
To wrangle Joey in.
Oh, I got big plans for you, Danny.
Oh, Lord. Lord.
Oh.
Well, we'll save that one definitely for the next show. But so next time we're going to definitely recap Went. Maybe I'll actually get Danny to sit still for 10 minutes and we can do a good sit down with that one. I know this is the year of truck, man. Who knows what that means with Nissan, but it was cool that Joey here got to go beat the hell out of some of the Titans there.
Dave, the highlight of my day today was I got to take a brand new 2017 Titan and go into a giant dirt berm and put that sucker on three wheels, and it was awesome.
Nice. So Hell's Gate's next on your list with the Titan. Is that what you're saying?
Well, my new professional driver friend that started following me on Instagram, I'll see if I can get him to get some kind of access to a Titan on out in Moab, but I think my chances are slim and none.
Right. Well, we couldn't. With the SEMA truck they brought out, it's probably the most dirt that truck will ever see at Went. So I understand, man. They're stingy with their vehicles out in the cool parts of the world. So Joey, best place people can find you, Instagram to follow your adventures?
Yeah, hashtag I know Blueberry. I usually post. I don't post crazy. I'm not going to annoy you, but maybe once every 2 weeks or once a week or so, I'll post up a picture if I think it's worthy. You can find me at Boulder Nissan.
Nice. You
Facebook.
Are you still selling any stickers or anything? The I know Blueberries or anything, man? Any fun there?
It's funny when people go places and they, there's a mailbox on Kingston Peak, and I think there's about 3 of them on that mailbox from people going up there. And I get pictures all the time when people go up there and be like, I saw this sticker here. So it's awesome. I'm glad people are having fun with it. All the stickers started was from a joke with Chris Haynes USA, and everybody just took it and ran with it. And I just think it's hilarious to this day. It cracks me up. It makes me smile. It warms my heart that people do that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's awesome. I have a couple new stickers, just a new design, but we'll see what I come up with for next year. It'll be something.
Nice, man. Well, we hope to see you definitely Gone Moab this year, and hopefully you can actually enjoy it this year and not have to go through everything you did last year. And,
Dave, do you have a I Know Blueberry t-shirt?
I don't think I got one of those, man. I definitely have the I know Blueberry stickers on the trucks.
Huh. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Jeez, man, I'm getting all kinds of cool stuff tonight, man. But So from everybody here at the Nissan Nation podcast, man, Danny over there in Zombieland, I don't know what Danny's looking at right now, but he's really looking at something there. Joey here in Colorado, JR, everybody that helps me make this show possible. I definitely will give a shout out. I know we've had a bunch of people asking when we were going to do, the next shows. I appreciate that, people reaching out, and we're not going anywhere, guys. We just needed an adventure break to recap in our brains of what we've done this summer. And Danny, any final thoughts?
I'd say I think it's really important that we make sure our listeners know that, at any given time your vehicle could break down and you could be stuck somewhere. So always have that go bag with a nice clean pair of undies in there, because nobody likes to get stuck somewhere with somebody that has saucy undies. You know what I'm saying, Dave?
I do understand that, man.
Danny, I know firsthand from the Golden Sleepover exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, none of us was very happy about the saucy undies.
Hey, we should plan a Uray trip.
I think we should.
We should fly Dave out.
Oh, Dave will be out. Dave actually is going to be out there next summer checking that place out. So details to come on that one.
Offline. We'll have an offline conversation about this. People don't need to know the secret plans of the great deals of the world.
Oh, shh. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's right, man. So from everybody here at the Nissan Nation podcast, man, I want to say definitely thank you for reaching out. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. Our numbers it was amazing. Our numbers were great from not actually putting out shows. So that means you guys must really like us. So we appreciate it. So Danny, from the Nissan Nation podcast, what are we, sir?
Hey.
We're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.